My parents would never sell their land voluntarily.
It was nearly 60 years ago that the Renton School District bought John Houston's parents' farm and home, destroying his family and leaving them with almost nothing. Houston's parents' dream of owning land and leaving it to their descendants came crashing down in 1968, when the district forced them to sell their property, purportedly to build a new school. A school that was never built. The district bought 10 acres from the Houston family and 10 additional ones from 2 other families for $92,000. When the expected population growth did not materialize, the district canceled the plans for the school. It sold the 20 acres in 1980 to developers for almost $187,000, more than double what it originally paid. Now, Houston, his brother James, and their sister Beatrice are trying to get reparations from the current school district for what they see as a wrongful land grab that killed any chance they had at generational wealth.
We got Shanghai hoodwinked out of our property, and you made a bunch of money off of it.
The brothers have been going to the school district's board meetings for several months to argue their case. They are also getting support from friends and the community.
But I am crushed when I learned how the Houston family was treated, and crickets from the school district.
What happened to the Houston family was a horrendous injustice.
One of John Houston's oldest and best friends spoke via telephone at the board meeting. He also spoke with Converge media online.
I would hope that they go back and look at this issue and decide what would be an equitable, reasonable payment of whatever type to the Houston family, because that was generational money, I think, that they lost.
The brothers are adamant that their parents never would have sold the farm they lived on because they used the land for food and income. But the district threatened the use of eminent domain to acquire the land.
Would he sell? No. No way. My dad didn't even know how to sit down and legally negotiate a sale. You know, sign on this line and sign on that line, make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. He couldn't even write or read. So, no.
School District Superintendent Damian Patino declined a request for an on-camera interview. Instead, School District spokesperson Randy Matheson answered questions via email. Matheson said eminent domain was not used in the Houston case. However, documents provided to John Houston by the district suggest the family refused to sell, so the district was prepared to acquire the land using that tactic. Asked whether the current school district leaders think that the Houston brothers and descendants should get any compensation or apology for what transpired back then, Matheson said the district has worked with Houston, quote, to provide full historic documentation of the purchase of his family's property, its intended use, and the subsequent economic realities that led to its eventual sale. Asked whether any attempt was made to share the profits of the sale with the Houston family, Matheson said, quote, there is no expectation to compensate past owners of property after completion of a series of legal and binding negotiations and contracts.
I've seen correspondence about eminent domain wasn't used. No, it wasn't used, but the threat of eminent domain is much worse at times than the actual going to court.
Houston's parents were poor as well as poorly educated. His father had a 3rd grade education and his mother had gone to 7th grade. His father George signed the warranty deed for the sale of the property with an X. Eminent domain is legal and constitutional when it comes to acquiring property for public uses. However, it isn't always applied evenly across communities. Joseph Todd is with the Washington State Commission on African American Affairs. He has been involved in the eminent domain process in other areas.
And it's not unlike stories that you hear across the country where eminent domains are declared, and for some reason, it always seems to go through the communities of color, right? Interstates, parks, you name it, no matter what, it always seems to go through the communities of color because the need is in place.
While owners are paid market value when their properties are taken through eminent domain, Todd says that it is not an accurate measure.
The reason the Houstons were living in the area because of redlining, right? So black folks were living in that area because they couldn't buy in other places because of these covenants and things that some of these neighborhoods and some of these communities had. So already the land value was devalued from the get-go.
If the school district decided to take some action on the Houston case, the question remains as to how any type of compensation would work. Todd says he could see an option for the district.
The school district owns land, and you can take that land and put it in a trust under a given person's name and then let that person manage that land trust, and they can do with it what they want. Either lease it for 100 years back to the school district, or you can build homes on it if you sell it.
Reverend Linda Smith is a community advocate. She says the district owes it to the community to do what is right.
As the school board talks about justice and equity, I think it would send a strong message to the entire community that the school board believed in all people and believed that justice belonged to all. Because until we acknowledge our wrongdoing, we're going to repeat it.
Monetary compensation might soothe some of their pain, but for the Houston brothers, the loss of their parents' land that could have created opportunities and wealth for subsequent generations has left an emotional wound.
Money heals a lot of wounds, you know. Anytime that you can go back and get done justice with an apology, you feel better. Oh, I'm scarred. I'm scarred, my family's scarred, my race is scarred, but we're not scared.
They gave my parents pennies. My mom, this tells you how little they gave them, $30,000 or $40,000. My mom still had to work 2 jobs after we moved from that land. It split up my family.